Welcome to Vital Signs with Lisa Williams. This is a podcast about hope and the power and resilience of the human spirit. I am your host, Lisa Williams. And on today's show, we're going to be speaking with yet again another unsung hero, a nurse. She has loads of experience up under her belt, from her particular nursing skills to her pharmaceutical skills, her rehabilitation skills, working in a hospital setting, home healthcare setting. But today we're going to kind of focus on the patient care that people receive when they're in their homes. So I'm going to bring her in. This is Miss Lisa with Vital Signs. Are you in the room?
I am here, and I would like to thank you so much, Miss Lisa, for having me on your podcast today. And I want to thank you for doing this. This is so important that this information gets out to everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Frontliner, for being here. Again, I'm calling our nurses frontliners because they are. They're unsung heroes because they are. So it is my pleasure, Frontliner, to have you on. I want to kind of go back and talk about home health care. That's what I really want to focus in on because I receive a lot of home health care myself because I've chose a type of palliative care where I receive all of my care within my home. I have a whole hospital room within my home. So I have, my specialty nurses that come out. As you know, you have to have a specialty
Hmm.
type of nursing degree to work with the type of patient that I am. And I chose not to do the hospice care because, as you know, and anybody that's listened to the show, that I have the stage 4 terminal cancer, amongst other things. But I did choose palliative care. I chose not to do hospice care and then the end of life care. For me, I chose holistic approaches, treatments that are experimental. I've chosen approaches for natural healing. And of course, above all, that trumps it all for Lisa is prayer activated by my faith.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just wanted to give the listeners a little bit of background if they had never listened to, Vital Signs with Lisa Williams. So if you can, for me, Frontliner, just kind of let's talk about when you were first starting out, providing home health care for someone that is basically confined to their home, or they receive the majority of their care in their home setting, and what it was like for you and what it was like for the patient. Let's kind of touch on that a little bit because a lot of people think that home health care just applies to elderly people, and it doesn't.
It really does not. That is a very, very huge misconception. Home health care is for it is for the elderly, but it's also for people who are disabled. It is
Mhm.
for people with certain illnesses that are not able to actually go to the hospital or doctor appointments. This is something that helps the patient. I guess you could say it gives them a sense of hope. It gives them a
Mhm.
sense of dignity of being able to stay in their home without
Mhm.
having to be put in a facility, a place that they're not familiar with. They get to have a care team or even a care
Mhm.
person that comes to their home on a regular basis
Mhm.
that they get familiar with. They know that they can rely and depend on this person. And I think that to me, that is the best. Whenever a patient can stay in their home where they're most comfortable, where they feel the most
Absolutely.
secure.
Mhm. And
And
you know what, Frontliner, you're so right because I thank God that I have the type of care that I'm able to be in my home and the familiarity with pretty much the same people, being in contact with the same nurses, you build that relationship
oh,
with
exactly.
them, and it
Exactly.
does give you a level of comfort. And for me, and I'm going to ask you kind of the same thing. For me, being able to keep my dignity intact, because I heard you say something about that right
Oh,
there
yes.
for me is number one. Because as a patient, when you can't control anything else, you lose the use of your legs, with all the medication, your mind kind of goes. You can't feed yourself, you can't bathe yourself, you can't, all sorts of things But for the team that I have, it is so important, not just to me, but to them, to keep my dignity intact along with my family members. So for you to say that's nothing but being led by the Holy Spirit, because a lot of people don't realize they come in and they just want to do a job. Boom, coming in, doing a job.
Hmm.
But keeping that patient's dignity intact where they're unable to is so important. Actually, it's paramount
It
because
really is.
it gives them a sense of, I still can control something, or someone's not looking at me, like I'm a science experiment. God knows I experienced that. But, and the family support, let's talk about family support, because I know for my family, people are always calling and checking on me because I'm the patient, but I want to encourage the listeners, if you have someone that is sick and that is receiving home care or care period, but especially those that are in home care that are confined to beds, wheelchairs, seats, please just do your due diligence as a human being and reach out and say hello. Let somebody in that position know that they are thought about, you care about them, you're praying for them. If if you're a prayer warrior, if you believe in higher power, and in my case, this is vital signs, I believe in the Holy Spirit, so let that person know you're thinking about them, and not just the patient, but the family member, because
Oh
that it
yeah.
is so much trauma, right? For the
It's
family member.
it's all new, it's raw, it's something that the family has never had to deal with before. Of course, it's equally, I don't want to say difficult, but it's a beyond a major change for the patient
Right.
and also for their family, for their friends. It
Mhm.
takes a toll. It takes a toll
Absolutely.
mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, all the way around. So
Mhm.
having a professional being able to come to the home and see to the patient, build a rapport with the patient and the patient's family
Yep.
and close friends. It means a lot. You're building a trusting and lasting relationship that helps the patient's mental and physical well being and also
Mhm.
gives support to the family as well. I have seen that time and time again. I've seen that especially with people who may not have a lot of family. They may have family who may work a lot and who's
Mhm.
not able to be there with them as much as the family or friends would like to because they have bills. They have their own families that they have to see to. So having
Mhm.
someone there at the house that they can trust and they can depend on that's going to be there for their family, for their friend, that means everything.
Absolutely. It means the world. And I was having a conversation with a nurse actually about a week ago. We were talking about the importance of the relationship building. So many people forget that you must build a rapport and relationship. And like you said, a trusting relationship with not just the patient, but their family, their friends, and I'm going to be very transparent as the show progresses. My own family, I was like, "Hey, well, you guys are going to participate in the podcast, right?" They looked at me and like, "We live this. We're not trying to talk about this. We live it." Some people think it's therapeutic to talk about it, and for some people it is. Sometimes it's therapeutic for me to talk about it, but it's more of, let me share my story and my experiences to help encourage hope, because it is there, because I'm a walking living testimony of that, to encourage hope to the patient and the family members that provide care and the caregivers. Because,
Hmm.
as a caregiver,
Exactly.
I see some of my nurses, they leave here, they usually don't cry when they're in the room with me, but I know that, and I'm gonna use the word trauma.
Hmm.
And that's the
Hmm.
word, for the not just the patient, but family members that love them, friends that care for them, neighbors, community. It's trauma for them because a lot of times you can only go so much. Medicine can only go so much, and you
Very
got to
true.
depend on something else. And for me, that is my faith. because I do what I'm supposed to do. I take my medications and I do what I'm supposed to do because that's why it was created to help you, heal, to get you through. But if you're out there, listener, and you're not the type of person that takes medication or believe in faith through healing and foods, no problem. Do whatever works for you as long as you are not hurting anyone else and yourself. Do what works for you. But it is trauma. It's trauma for the team that is providing the care because they have to keep that mask on, like put that front up like they're so
Hmm.
strong because you don't want to show the patient who's already down, who's already feeling some kind of way, who's already sick. You don't want to come into the atmosphere and bring the spirit of hopelessness.
Oh, exactly. I have had to do that many a time when I know the patient's diagnosis may not be the most hopeful,
Mm-hmm.
but I still put on that face of, I guess, hope. I'm still talking and laughing with them. I'm trying to get a smile. I'm trying
Yes,
to, let them know, hey, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone.
absolutely.
You have someone here that's going to be by your side,
Mm-hmm.
and giving them that in-home health care that gives them that sense of hope that they may have started to kind of waver on,
Mm-hmm.
because they have that reassurance that they're going to see the same person or regular people, the same
Mm-hmm.
people on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and that does give them a sense of hope that brightens up their day. I've seen it many times, and I hate sometimes when the end of my shift is over with, because I know they're going to be a little sad. I'm going to be sad too because I have to go, but I'll be back. And I,
Absolutely.
like to reassure them, hey, I'm gonna be back.
Mhm. And that's
Um,
so needed, that
yeah,
reassurance of,
yeah,
Imma
it
be
is.
back, even though when you know what the diagnosis is, sometimes you just for me, I know let me break up the little seriousness a little bit, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna use names because I have people in here right now. One of my nurses named Tammy, and this fine nurse named Jeffrey, and I'm gonna go
Mm.
ahead and call him out because, my husband be right here, be like, "Man, that's just how Lisa is. It's okay, dude. Don't worry about it." He like 6'7",
Mm.
just a beautiful person on the outside and just an even more beautiful human being on the inside. And he comes in and he like don't know. He was new at a couple of months back. So I think it's been almost a year, and he comes in, and when he comes in, it's not even just for me, for him. It's not even just the quality of care that I'm going to receive from Jeffrey. It's me like, oh, look at this good looking man right here. And my husband be like, Lord, it's a bad day. Please send Jeffrey to uplift this woman's spirits, because you get like that, and when you see someone, not just that sight, but once they open their mouth and they start to speak and they're a lovely, good, kind, genuine person. See, that's what I'm talking about. Even though I said he fine, you fine. The truth is the
That's
truth,
right.
and on vital signs, we keep it true. So when I would see Jeffrey come in, I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, and I would say, hey, can you give me a sponge bath? Knowing doggone well I had just had a bath, stuff like that, that just kind of keep you
Nothing wrong
going and
with
right, keep you on your toes. And that's just the kind of patient I am, and Jeffrey would be like, I don't want to come in this house and this big old husband this woman got, but they had their
that.
own relationship as well, along with my children, and then but Nurse Tammy, and I'm gonna talk about her, and I'm trying to get them to come on the show because they're basically here 24 hours, 7 days a week. But I try to get them to come on, and especially Tammy, because she basically live in, and when she comes in, she is so proficient at what she does. And I'm not just talking about what she learned in the book from her school. I'm talking about her bedside manner, kind of what you said,
Oh,
frontliner, about keeping the dignity intact. When she walks into the room, I hear theme music playing because I know it's going to be all right. Even with my true strong belief in my Christian values, and I believe in the Lord and all the fruits of the spirit, his healing, because that's what he's doing. I'm still here. I'm still here when they say, oh, she's not going to make it. She's not going to be here. I flatline a couple of times, and, I have a DNR in place, which is very hard for my family, but it's what
Hmm.
I want. In home care, when people come to home care, for me, not across the world, but for me, it's a little bit more intimate when it's home care. I feel like my wishes are being really followed even more so in home care with the community that I have. And thank God I have a good community, a support system around the world. And for those of you who don't have that, I pray for you. And I pray that people will step up in the community to, just say hi. Go to a long term care facility, go to a nursing home, go to a hospice care home. If you can't go, send a card, send a message, make a phone call to a total complete stranger and say, hi, this is Lisa. I'm just calling. I don't know you. You don't know me, but I just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service. Thank you. That just that alone, you never know where
That
that's going to get somebody
that
else in
does
their
so
day,
much.
right?
That does
There
so
you
much.
go.
It really does.
There you go. That's right, Frontline. It does. And people just have, some people, not everybody, have just forgotten. Just that simple comment can be between life and death. And I'm saying that because I'm talking about me. That right there can be between life and death. And what I mean by that, me just giving up. Because this walk is not easy. And as you know, being a specialty type nurse, and from doing it all, and all of those, that have cancer and all sorts of debilitating disease, lupus, just everything you can think of where you don't have full range of motion of your body anymore. People that are blind, people that
True.
can't hear. So, please, listeners, if you are listening, get in contact with yourself when it comes to that part of just living. Thank the Lord
Oh
that
yes.
you can still see, you can still hear, you can still move, live, and have your being. Don't take for granted that you can see. Don't take for granted that you can hear. Don't take for granted that you can drive, you can walk. Not even just walk, that you can feel the floor up under your feet when you get up out the bed in the morning. That is a miracle in itself. And I
It
really
really
wanted
is.
Vital
It
Signs
is.
to, get that across to people to really think about. We have miracles every day. It's not just sometimes this big grand thing. Oh, Miss Lisa heart rate stopped. Oh, but it started back up. Yeah, that's a miracle. But the tiny miracles, because if you can't even absorb the tiny miracles in the day, how you gonna absorb the big miracles and appreciate the big
Hmm.
things?
It's just some people don't realize that, but it's just the smallest gestures. Just
Mhm.
kicking in on a person, just letting them know, hey, I'm there. I'm thinking about you. Just a simple, a 30-second phone call. Hey, how you doing? Means everything. A simple little quick card. If the patient is able to still use their phone, a text,
Mhm.
a quick little
Mhm.
text, you know,
Yeah,
means everything. I mean, I have
absolutely.
seen patients' face light up just with, as I said, just with someone just peeking in on them. Oh, who was that? Oh, that was so and so. They just wanted to, just peek in a minute and just look at you for a second and just, go about their business. They didn't want to bother you. And it
Mhm.
just means everything.
It
It
does.
gives the patients it like revitalizes them, you know?
Mhm.
Because it
It
lets them
does.
know someone really does care about me. Someone
Yeah.
is genuinely concerned about me. I'm
Mhm.
not in this alone.
That's the main thing. None of us, not one of us, are in anything alone. The key is sharing the information. And I'm not saying go blab your business to everybody. Get again, for me, I don't just talk to just anybody and everybody about the details of my life, but this particular part of my life, I know that the Lord said it's time to come on out from behind the support shadows, Lisa. It's time for you to not be the foundation anymore, to carry the world on your shoulders. It's time for you to come out in the front. I overcame the world, so you don't need to feel like you need to carry the world on your shoulders. Come on out, tell your story, encourage others to tell theirs, whether it's good, not so good, because I do know the word of God says that we go through things in our life. Not just for ourselves, but to share that information with someone else to help it be easier for them, to let them know they're not alone. You are never alone in anything. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and end the message with for today is that you are not alone. Just reach out and touch someone. And when it's you that all these things are happening to, take the focus off yourself and put that energy towards someone else. I promise you, you will be blessed and a better person for it. And the person receiving that energy will be blessed and a better person for it. And there is healing in knowing somebody is thinking about you, praying for you. There is life in that. So, frontliner, thank you so much for coming on the show, and just having a conversation with me. Was there anything else you wanted to just say to the listeners, those that are listening?
I would just like to say again, I cannot reiterate this enough. Check on family, friends who are going through any type of illness, from anything dealing with mental, physical, any type of sickness. Please check on them because that will help them to know that someone is caring for them means everything. It helps to have a great support team from the medical field, but also helps from family and friends as well. So
Mhm.
please never think that if you just, oh, if I just check, just peek in on them, if I just give them a little 2 minute phone call, or that's not enough, I'm not doing enough. You are. That helps.
Mhm.
It helps more than what they will ever know. And I just cannot say that enough. Never stop letting the patient, your family, your friend know that you're there for them. Never
Yes.
let them feel that you're not there. The littlest
Yes.
things will help, and it is greatly appreciated more than what they could ever say or express. It is truly appreciated.
Mm.
And I would like to say thank you again so much, Ms. Lisa, for having me on your show. This is the first time I've ever done a podcast. I was a little nervous. I'm a little excited. I'm glad I was able to do this. And I really appreciate you for doing this.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to just be right in the vein with you because I told you none of us are alone in anything. But I want to say thank you for what you do. And I've never done a podcast before either. So I'd be just as nervous as the next person. Again, we are not alone in anything that we do. So thank you for being brave enough and taking a chance and standing up in your courage for your field as a human being to help, shine some light on what someone that's receiving home care, palliative care, hospice care, just people that are kind of sick and shut in and most of the time can feel very alone by themselves. So thank you for coming on to the show and expressing your thoughts and sharing your thoughts with the listeners because it is greatly appreciated by me. The universe appreciates it. And may God continue to bless you, your profession, your family, and anything that you put your hands to.
Oh,
Okay?
thank you so much. And the same to you.
God bless.